Right, started recording.
Oh.
Haven't we?
Yes.
Cool. Right, so I shall count down.
And what are we saying? Biscuits?
Biscuit.
Okay. Biscuit or biscuits?
Singular.
I think I was ever so slightly after
Someone's
you.
typing.
Sorry, it was me. I've stopped now. I won't do it again, promise.
Are we ready?
Yep.
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
Biscuit.
Sorry, I wasn't ready.
You said you were.
I know, I clearly lied.
Right, you just say biscuit now and then we'll line you up. It'll be fine.
I need
Okay.
more wine.
Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Biscuit.
This is the outtake one.
3, 2, 1.
Biscuit.
Biscuit.
Crazy words, crazy tune, all that you'll ever hear him croon. Vo-do-do, vo-do-do-do-do. Vo-do-do, sits around all night long, sings the same words to every song. Vo-do-do, vo-do-do-do-do. His ukulele daily, how he'll strum, bum-bum-bum, vamping and stamping. Then he hollers black bottom, crazy words, crazy tune. He'll be driving me crazy soon. Vo-do-do, vo-do-do-do-do. Black bottom.
Things we do.
Hello, and welcome to this Ubuntu Podcast After Party. Hello, everyone. How are you? How's everyone doing? Hello, Alan. Hello, Mark. Thank you for being patient there as we were just getting going. Ooh, wow. Thank you, everyone, for coming. That was not stressful in the slightest. Are you in your new car, Alan?
Yeah, you think you've got it easy? I'm streaming from a car.
It's amazing Wi-Fi you get in modern cars.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Also, they've got this microphone clip that lets me mount.
It's almost
my
like they had
microphone.
this in mind.
Yeah, totally. Weird where I'm parked. I don't know what's going on. No, there, it's that side, isn't it? There. I don't know where I'm parked. But, you know, this will do.
Right. Well, thanks everyone for joining. We've got what have we got? Not much really. We've got some chat.
Yeah,
I
so
suppose.
there's people in chat. Tell
Yeah,
us
well,
where
we've
you-
got loads of people in chat. Alan,
Alan's gone
you're
all
going to have
quiet.
to fiddle your slider.
Oh, this Linux is the year.
Oh, and again,
Keep going.
this is going to be fun. I will say hello. Well, hello to everyone. So there are more people in chat than we are accustomed to dealing with. So this is going to be challenging, but thank you all very much for stopping by. So let's start off in a traditional way. Mark, what have you been doing since we last spoke?
I have been doing more computery stuff as usual, including playing Fallout 4.
What's that?
It is a post-apocalyptic role-playing game, I believe is the tagline.
Has it got roguelike elements?
Does it have roguelike elements? It doesn't have roguelike elements. It has open world exploration and stuff. And yeah, I mean the Fallout series has been around for years. It started off as like an isometric sort of party RPG thing, not like Baldur's Gate, but it's kind of hard to explain without seeing it. But yeah, anyway, it's now transitioned to like first-person 3D. It's made by or published by Bethesda, who also published the Elder Scrolls games and uses a similar engine. But that being said, they've still managed to sort of keep it as, they've kept what makes it Fallout rather than just making it the Elder Scrolls in post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland, which I quite like. There's lots of character and in-jokes and callbacks to previous games, which is a lot of fun in the Fallout universe.
Excellent. Yeah, I remember when it came out, it was a bit criticised because the sort of the open world nature was huge, but a sort of a desolate void of nothing much to do. Is that still the case, or do you feel like there's a world to explore? Well,
I did feel that when I started playing, but I've got the Game of the Year edition, and I kind of find that there's quite a lot of content. They probably filled in the gaps as the DLC came out. So one of the good things about buying Windows games on Linux is by the time you buy them and they run well on Wine, usually all of the DLC's out and you can get it all in a bundle for a fraction of the original price.
I should have thought about that. I just bought Micro Machines last night, which is a Windows game. Didn't work at my first time of asking, but I'm going to try again. So dare we say, Alan, what have you been doing since last time we spoke? Oh dear. We're having some technical difficulties. Oh, there it is. Now it's working.
No,
and
it
it's
worked
off
for a
again.
minute.
It worked for a moment.
I have to keep my mouse on the.
Oh, maybe keep moving it even.
Technology, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we don't do the podcast.
Now it's working.
Yes.
Now I have a horrible feeling I'm going to have to reboot at some time.
Okay, well that's fine.
I just not now.
Right.
So what was the question?
What have you been up to other than fiddling with audio on KDE?
So these newfangled computers are rubbish, I've decided. And what's better is old computers.
Right.
And I showed you guys this in the show a couple of weeks ago. And I thought I'd bring it along and show everyone else. This thing is a Gotek. This is a floppy disk adapter. You put a USB in there full of image files and you connect it to the internal floppy drive cable inside an old computer so that you can mount the images that are on the USB stick that's in here and then use the little buttons to jump between the various floppy drive images, and it shows you a number on the display. All the cool.
Oh, we've lost you there, Alan, I'm afraid. So I think you were saying all the cool kids are doing it.
Yeah, all the cool kids have them. But the computer that I have is an IBM PS2, which doesn't have a standard floppy adapter. So I had to order.
Uh-oh.
You've got a floppy adapter for your USB adapter.
Alan, I'm afraid we've lost you again. Come in, Switzerland.
I have a feeling I need to reboot.
Okay, that's fine. If you can do your vanishing trick out of your car, I believe you've got a teleporter built into the car. If you just want to teleport out and go and deal with that. Oh, perfect. There we go. So, Alan's car is amazing, it turns out. So we'll hear from Alan in a moment.
No, not Alan. Martin, you're the other person here. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, I have... Oh, here it is. I've switched to iPhone. That's it. It's brilliant.
Because you hate freedom but love privacy.
Well, I like a bit of privacy, and I like a functioning, mobile device, and that seems to be the only option. And it's great, actually. I'm suitably impressed and very happy with my life choices. What I've noticed is, you can compare Android and iPhone specs and what have you. You can even talk about like the differences of Android versus iOS in terms of the software. But what I've noticed is the quality. So I've got all this, apart from one app, I'm running exactly the same apps from the same publishers on my iPhone that I had on Android. Only one I had to find an equivalent.
Yeah.
But the quality of the apps and the features of the apps on iPhone is superior to the Android equivalents. And in some cases, it's really markedly different, like it's a different experience altogether. So I found that very interesting. So, forget like the hardware comparisons. It's just the software experience is considerably better, in my opinion. What's the one app? The one app is, I forget what it's called on iPhone, but it's basically an IO. So I was just being asked, Joe Ressington asked, what is the one app? It's an app to control OBS remotely. I just had to find a different one. It's a different experience. I need to pay attention because at some point Alan is going to want to teleport back in again, and I'll have to be ready and waiting.
You've got to be prepared to press energize at
Yeah.
the right moment.
Yeah. Wow, there's so many of you here. This is amazing. Thank you all for stopping by. I hope you've got, a cup of tea or a coffee or an orange juice or, maybe, dare I say it, a beer.
A Long Island iced tea.
Yeah. So we're just having a little bit of a catch up between the three of us. Alan's just stepped out of his car for a moment to go and reboot the computer. Apparently, computers in cars are not reliable. And then we'll move over to some other stuff. But yeah. Alan was talking about floppy disks.
Yeah.
I've been working on a little project of mine, which is a wrapper for QEMU to make it easier to virtualize things, in particular Windows and Mac OS on Linux. And one of the things I added, thinking of Alan, is floppy disk emulation in the in the setup, so you can now feed it floppy disk images and it will turn those.
So when you're emulating Windows 95 and you need to load your, I can't remember what you did on Windows 95, TCP/IP stack or something from a floppy disk. Yeah. You've got the ability to do it. Or
some of those games where they've got the key embedded into an encrypted executable or something. Yeah. So I was thinking of Alan when I added that. So yeah, floppy disks working in virtual machines. It was actually quite handy because it enabled me to check out the new version of FreeDOS, which was fun.
A new version of FreeDOS. Have they not caught up with DOS yet?
Oh, they've surpassed it. Oh, here he is. He's teleported back in. Hang on a moment. We'll just enable the audio subsystem. Come in, Alan. Oh dear.
Oh, your communications are down, officer.
I'm afraid there is no communications coming through at the moment.
Can you hear me, Clem Fandango?
Yes.
Oh my.
Oh, it's gone again. Jesus. Well, how are we going to do this? Let's have a think about this. Tell you what.
Can you come in on your phone like I am?
Yeah, I was just going to say, if I give you a different URL, you could come in and just use your URL on your phone or something. Use the mic, the camera. The phone as a microphone, which might work. I'd have to fiddle around though, so that'd be tricky. Yeah. Talk amongst yourselves whilst we figure this out.
I just don't
Andrew, we're back again.
Well, I'm fiddling around with audio, so...
Right. Oh, and it's gone. It's weird.
Something is automatically fiddling with my audio. Because the mixer setting...
I know what this might be. Do you have TLP pre-installed by any chance?
Tap, 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 tap.
Yes.
Right,
Live
it's that.
debugging.
So there we go. I had to patch Ubuntu Mate 2104 to stop it doing this. And there is a thing that you can do to stop it suspending the USB subsystem for active USB audio devices.
Sudo
And
apt remove TLP.
that might help, but you could just stop it. But if you stop it first and then rip it out, then that's the quick fix. But
There's
you
no
can.
TLP running.
There's no TLP running.
No, and I haven't.
Oh no,
seen
it
my-
will have put a profile in the UDEV or something. But if you remove it,
I've completely removed it.
okay, it's gone already.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I aggressively removed it with extreme prejudice.
Okay, then let's assume we've just fixed that. So right then, so Alan, other than messing
Right, I need to
around
show-
with, oh, it's gone again. Fucking hell.
Okay, so what now?
Let
Should I post
me
on Ask Ubuntu?
hang on a moment. Shall I move to the technical difficulties page while we just spend 3 minutes between ourselves and fix this? Because
Yes.
I think we can. We'll be back momentarily,
For
everyone.
context listeners, this is what normally happens in the 15 minutes before we start recording an episode, but you're seeing it live.
Right, we'll be back in just a few moments. Go and get yourself a fresh cup of tea or something.
Crazy words, crazy tune, all that you'll ever hear him croon. Vo-do-de-o, vo-do-do-de-o-do. Vo-do-do, sits around all night long, sings the same words to every song. Vo-do-de-o, vo-do-do-de-o-do. His ukulele daily, how he'll strum, bum-bum-bum, vampin' and stampin'. Then he hollers black bottom, crazy words, crazy tune. He'll be driving me crazy soon. Vo-do-de-o, vo-do-do-de-o-do.
Sure, why
That was
not?
fun.
Let's give it a go. Let's see how long we last.
This is why we've stopped doing the podcast. Is because the audio just keeps breaking and like it. Not really. Right. I think what it is YouTube don't want me to talk about this. Right? There's this thing that I bought and they don't want me to talk about it. That's what it is. I'm going to open it. I haven't even opened this thing yet. I'm going to open it. It's in a bag, right?
Looks
Does it
serious.
infringe someone's copyright?
No. Right. I wonder if any of our listeners can guess what this is. Like, is that enough to like?
Ooh, I
show
don't
you what
know.
it is?
Let's see. Let's
is
see
that?
what chat has to say about that. Hold it up for a couple of seconds, and we'll give people a moment to consider their options.
I am intentionally waving it around like a
Yeah, I
lunatic,
get that. I get that.
because I don't want someone to like zoom and enhance and see the the chips and go, oh, it's one of those.
I like
Yeah.
the fact somebody
Danny suggests
suggested,
it's
is it a sound card?
Well,
Nice one, Danny.
I
I like the fact it's a white PCB.
I'll try and show you edge on.
Oh, oh my
So,
God. Please
I
don't
tell
be
you
a
what, I
parallel
was-
port.
What do those ports look like?
Oh, it's a game. It's a game port. It's
Is it a
an old
joystick?
serial joystick.
Old-fashioned
port.
joystick.
Yes, and it is also an audio card. It is an audio card.
Or an ancient PC.
Whoever decided that it was an audio card. Now, what's different about this? I don't know if anyone's figured
Is that
out.
a PC? Is that a PCI
ISA.
audio card?
No. This is a PCI.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it an ISA card? Oh, we've lost you again, Alan.
We've lost you again. Give something a poke. Keep poking.
Yeah, keep prodding at it. Oh, Visa local bus, somebody's suggesting. We can't hear you, I'm afraid. I can't hear you, sorry.
Try plugging that into the computer and plug your mic into it. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, why don't you teleport away and give it another bounce because you made some changes, and let's see if that corrects things. I know. See you momentarily. Right then. Okay, so what are we going to do? We haven't planned for this kind of issue.
I suppose the other thing to say that we haven't said yet is that people in the chat, if you have questions for us about the show, which you've always wanted answered, now is your time. You can ask us anything about, the history of the show, the things we do on the show, any particular favourite bits which you wanted to, if you think there might be an anecdote behind your favourite moment on the show that you'd like to ask us about. We can see everything whizzing by in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them.
We will indeed. There has already been a question, of course, which is that somebody asked about the theme tune, which we had playing just now while we were having technical difficulties. And the theme tune is called Crazy Words, Crazy Tune, which is quite an old song from the 1920s, I think. It was originally 1927.
1927, which means it's out of copyright in the UK, which means we can use it hopefully without any issues. The version we use is recorded by the Savoy Havana Band. So if you want that version, search for Crazy Words, Crazy Tune, Savoy Havana Band, and you'll find it. We did, when we were looking for this show, we did find some other songs from around the same era, which were also out of copyright. The lyrics, not so much fun on some of those. Attitudes were different back then, shall we say. So, listener beware. But that song is perfectly safe.
So there are questions, and I'm just copying and pasting them so that we... I see Alan. Let me just turn the audio on in the cloud. Hello. Oh, no. This is most unusual.
How about I answer some questions and you could try giving Alan
sure. If you read some out, and I'll try and capture some of them as well. Oh, there he is. We heard that for just a minute there, Alan.
Right, let's have a look. I'm just scrolling back off. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Of course. Right, so I saw a question from Chris Fisher. Hi, Chris. He was asking what's each of our favourite type of topics to cover. I would say mine are probably gaming related. I'm a big Linux gamer. Even before Steam and Proton, I've always been playing games on Linux. So, that's usually what I've been doing is what game I've been playing this week. So that's usually my favourite thing to talk about. I did used to really enjoy it when it was like you had to spend a day fiddling around and getting it working just right. But now I really enjoy the fact that you can just play them. I think that's brilliant. So I do appreciate all the work that's been done by a lot of brilliant people over the years. Someone asked, can we ask 14 more years? Not of this podcast.
Not from this one, no. So there's a couple of others that I saw. So Ubuntu Podcast Portugal asked, how do we plan the episodes? So I don't know if you've noticed, but we have like a TikTok of we have what we call show A and show B. So each fortnight we record 2 episodes back to back. We record show A, which is community news and big news and events. That's the format of show A. And then show B. Oh, hello, Alan. I can hear that. I can hear you whine.
Good.
Pour it into the computer, maybe. And then show B is a segment, something that we talk about. Cheers, fellas.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Right at this second, we can.
So I'll just finish. And show B is the, a segment about something where we talk about either something in the news or something we've been doing or an interview. And then we do command line love and the listener feedback. So the two shows have like a structure. The second show is the easiest to do because we basically choose a topic and then it's just us having a chat. And the first show, that takes a bit of time going off and sourcing the community news and the news items that we want to talk about. So that's how we plan it. And we collaborate using HackMD to sort of lob all the notes together. So that's how we plan for the show.
Yeah, we've tried using Gobby in the past. We used to have a Gobby server, and
Etherpad.
Oh no, we've lost you again, Alan.
You've gone, Alan. But yeah, we used to use Etherpad, which was a similar web-based thing. But the thing with those was that we had to host them ourselves on a server, which meant we had to maintain that server. And originally, Davey was maintaining the server, one of the original presenters, but then he left. And then, so with HackMD, it is open source, so we could host it ourselves if we wanted to, but we don't have to. So we haven't been, basically. Gobby also needed a desktop client, which is a bit of a faff, especially when I'm on Windows at work. And I don't think there is a desktop client for Windows, and I had ways around it, but basically it meant I couldn't prep while I was at work. Not that I would ever, use company time for show prep or anything along those lines. But yeah, the great thing about HackMD is that it's in a browser and it's all in Markdown, so that's nice.
Right then, so we've had a couple of questions which are about the show titles. So we've been asked what's the method behind the show titles, and somebody's asked if this season was geographic locations.
Well, should we go through
we could
the history of the show title?
We could take a look. If we go over here, I'm missing a browser. Let's do a new window. Drag this into position. There we go. As if by magic, a browser appears. Let's do youtube.com Ubuntu Podcast.
Got a .org on the end there.
Oh, I have got a .org because I was originally going to go to the website and then I thought better of it. Right then, let's maximize that. So we've got playlists for the past seasons. So episode 1, view the full playlist.
So I think those. I'm sure people have already guessed what those are.
So we should say that each season has a theme to the episode titles.
They
right?
do.
Yes. And Alan, you've got to. It was when I started talking that Alan disappeared. Is that just me? Am I being?
It's just you, Alan. Alan's present and among us at the moment.
I mean, his voice.
Oh, have we lost? Oh, we have lost his voice again. Oh gosh. So I don't know what these are. I'm wondering if maybe we should continue, or maybe we schedule this for another occasion.
Can we? Did we try to bring in Alan on a phone?
Technically that's doable, but that means I have to live configure OBS and what have you. So
I see.
It's
not just switching him out with the link on a different device.
Well, no, because his camera's coming in on that one.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. I can't. I can't do this easily. I mean, I can do it easily, but I have to sit here and faff around. I'm guessing Alan is perplexed about this, because I know for a fact that you will be on like meetings all day long on web conferences and what have you. So this is, clearly not situation normal.
Can we join with audio and video on phone, like I'm doing? Is what he's asking in the chat.
Who's asking that? Can I join
Alan.
with audio? Yes, you can. Yeah, if you put that URL that you've been given into your phone, it will bring you in. Okay.
Right. So while he's doing that, I will explain episode 1's theme. So I think probably the giveaway of this season is the first episode title. And also, there is a frequent comparison which is made with Popey's appearance, which I think was probably the inspiration for this. So anyone in the chat care to give a guess what the episode titles were in this season?
So I think I know what those are, but let's see if chat can work it out. Obviously, I wasn't involved in these early episodes, and in fact, Mark, I don't think you were
Here we
either.
go.
There
I
we
wasn't.
go.
No, this was before my time.
So I think
Danny's got it.
Danny's got it. And Trooper has got the full answer. Yeah, and Simon, there we go. It's Elvis. Songs from Elvis.
Yeah.
So that was season 1. So season 2, I see Alan joining. Hang on, I'm going to unmute him on
He's
the
slouching
phone.
in his chair now.
Hello.
Hello, I've come indoors from the car.
It's working fine.
Madness.
Oh,
We can hear you fine.
It does look like you're a small child sat in the car now, however.
I'm sat in the back. The grown-ups won't let me go in the...
Well, look, this technology works. Thank you for that. So let's find season 2. The chat guessed what the first episode was. So here we go. This is the second episode.
Second season.
Okay. Yeah, second season. So there is a theme. Who can guess what the theme is of these titles? Because I'll just...
So this is... Those of you who know Tony Whitmore will be... it'll make it a bit easier to guess if you think about Tony, what we chose for this season.
I wouldn't have got this until you said what you just said.
Here we go. The guesses are coming in. Matt
There
has
it
got
is.
it.
Yeah, so there it is. Yes, it is.
Doctor Who serials, classic Doctor Who serials, I think. So yeah, there is a video somewhere where Tony was on. I can't remember what it was. A kids Saturday morning TV show with Michaela Strachan as a kid. Where he was like the Doctor.
I was very jealous of that because I had a thing for Michaela Strachan.
I think every schoolboy had a thing for Michaela Strachan. I think that was like a universal constant almost.
Sorry, carry on.
Right. So well done. It was Doctor Who. So season 3, you're getting the idea. You're looking for a theme. Whoops. I don't want to do that. You're going to hear the music.
I think this one's a bit trickier.
View the playlist. Okay.
So while you're doing that, Neil asked a question, which we'll come to in a moment, about why some are unavailable. We'll get to that in a bit.
Okay, yeah, we will get into that in a moment.
And he does say that he can confirm that he was also in love with Michaela Strachan.
Good. Glad it wasn't just me.
Okay, I can't see what this is. I mean, some of these look familiar. Are they?
They're ironic, considering that we were an audio show. I think these are kind of ironic titles.
Okay.
The other thing to be said, at this point, we did always try and choose from our theme. We always tried to choose a title which was somewhat related to either something we spoke about in the show or something that happened in the show. Here we go. It's coming in. I think Simon got it first there.
Right. Very good. Okay. Very good. Well done.
At some point, when we do you want to move on to season 4?
Sure.
I'm pretty sure that as each season came on, we had a bit of difficulty thinking of themes, and we always wondered whether there would be enough episodes for a particular theme. Like,
is there 40 of a thing? Because it was roughly 40 episodes, and
Yeah,
sometimes
I think we always try to find a list online that we could easily refer to, so we could say, "Oh yeah, there are that many."
yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god, what's this?
What are these?
This was my suggestion. So I was still the new boy at this point, and I said, "Oh, can we do this?" I think it was harder for us to relate them to Bill's got it.
What was it?
Well, he's alluded to it anyway. Here we go. Esteban
Ah,
and Craig. Yeah,
right.
these are Iron Maiden songs.
Right.
very good. Okay.
Yeah. Any of them?
Season 5.
Oh.
Okay. I don't reckon.
And this bit, I think I remember what this was, but I don't instantly recognise these. Alan, do you remember?
Oh, hang on. Go. No.
Because I think what we'd said was, oh, we've done songs, we've done movies, we've done TV. What haven't we done?
Is it books?
I think this was books, but I don't know what books it was.
Okay. Because there would have been, it won't just be books, it will be a particular type. Okay, who's figured this out? So we think it's books. Is it?
Did we ever write
Somebody
this
said
down?
Shakespeare.
I don't think we did. I think we just said we'd leave it for people to
No, but in terms,
come up with.
we set what it was at the start of the season. Did we ever
Yeah,
write down a list?
we must have had a link to the list. Laura's in the chat, I think. Laura, do you remember what this was about?
Simon's suggesting, is it children's books?
I don't think it was. I think there's something specific about it.
I don't think there was a children's book called The Cube Root of Conquest.
Okay. Well, we'll have a look through that one. Patty Pan is a Beatrix Potter book. No, these are not Beatrix Potter, I don't think. Okay.
It was definitely books, but I can't remember what the significance of the books
Okay.
was.
Well, there we go. That's a bit of a mystery then. So Big Pod
Laura
says
says she
it's
can't.
space
She's
books.
watching on her phone and she can't see the title.
Sorry, Laura. Okay, let's move to season 6 and see if we can remember what those are.
Hilariously, I've just Googled for a couple of the books, and the first hit is a G-Podder website with our episodes.
Well, so we're now on season 6, and I know what this is, and there's an interesting one in here. So let's see if you can figure out what these.
Someone's got it. So
Okay.
Hit a Green IT. It was public domain books that were on Project Gutenberg.
Oh wow!
Yes, that was it. Well done.
Yes.
Well done.
Well
Chris.
done.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I remember it now, having
That's it.
seen that.
People said they saw Hitchhikers and thought it was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So did I, when I just saw that.
So well done, Hither Green, for figuring that one out. It's mystery solved. Right, so this one I can remember. So Simon's on the right track, but what about, yes, that's it. So Adam Porter has got it. These are film titles with a word exchanged for Ubuntu. And
So this is what we called the Alan Partridge naming scheme. So if you watch Alan Partridge, all of their episode titles are, Towering Alan. And so I think we've got one in there called Towering Ubuntu as an homage to that.
And I can exclusively reveal that season 6, episode 15 is the most popular episode we've ever done because the title is 10 Things I Hate About Ubuntu.
Yeah, we really thought that's what we were talking about.
Yeah,
Me typing.
there we go. So we know what that one is. Season 7, where is that? 8. Oh, there it is. So 7. Okay, I know what this is immediately. So who knows what these ones are? Yeah, Matthias Werner's right in there immediately. Yes, well done everyone. They're Friends episodes. Yeah, we don't need to languish on that one for very long. Season 8. I've done that thing again. Whoops. I beg your pardon. Sorry, everyone. Season 8. View the playlist. I remember this. I think. I've lost Alan momentarily. Alan's going to be back in a moment.
He's gone to get something.
Okay.
Yes, this is an interesting one. I think we actually made a mistake with this one, and we used the same episode title twice.
I think we did. Yeah. Let's see if we can find. I think we've got the same episode title in here twice, but I remember what the theme is, and it's a bit obscure. Or is it? Maybe it wasn't this one.
So there's a couple of guesses. There's a couple of guesses around zombie movies. There are a few zombie movies on.
Yes.
Zombie movies wasn't the theme.
It's not the theme, but there's a reason why zombie movies were kind of got caught up in this theme, I think.
Here we go. IMDb bottom 250 has been guessed.
Matthias Werner's in there.
It was the bottom 100. I think we took these from.
Yeah, it was the worst 100 films on IMDb.
Yes.
So we're on to season 9 now. And
this one was my favourite.
Oh man, I can't remember this.
So this was quite an interesting season, because this was the season when Laura left us, but it was partway through the season, and for the rest of the season we had a lot of guest presenters. But because of the place where we were taking the show titles from, it was really easy for us to find names for the episodes which had the person's name in who was a guest on the show. So that's why we've got things like Emma's Clown Car when we had Emma from System 76 on the show.
And we got Dirty Dan's Dark Delight when we had Dan from System AU on, and Joe's Wee Heavy Metal, which was perfect because that's when we had Joe Ressington on. So yes, these are, I think somebody's got it here, Andy J. These are names of beers from Untapped. And we were pulling these out weekly and trying to come up with something that was close to what we'd discussed or linked in some way. Season 10. Oh, I've done it again. I suck at my job. Right, let's try that again. Okay. Cool. Oh, I know what these are. I remember this. Okay. Yep. Okay. System AU. Yeah, we're joining them. So Jonathan Westwood Saltmarsh says, is it what 3 words? This is not what 3 words. This one is not what 3 words. Are those stupid generated hash word thingies? Close. Alistair Buxton's close with that. These ones are specifically, there's a bit of code in Lex C that generates a pet name for your container when you spark up a new container. So these are all pet names from the container creation tools in Lex C is what these ones were. Yeah. Season 11.
I have a feeling conventional wisdom is that our episode titles didn't do us any favors whatsoever, because they don't give any clue whatsoever what the content of the episode is, and in fact sometimes mislead people completely as to what's in the episode, like 10 things I hate about Ubuntu. Like if we were to do this 14 years all over again, I'd probably do decent show titles, but past experience tells me it's really hard and really stressful to come up with show titles.
Yeah.
We did actually, yeah. I think you can tell around this time is the time when we started pre-generating the show titles, or at least coming up with something which we could work out in advance, because these all have numbers in, don't they?
Yeah.
So this way, on this season, we worked out that if we decided in advance something which we could pre-generate the whole season, even though it had nothing to do with what we're talking about in the show.
Yeah.
It made the whole thing a lot less stressful, because we used to spend half an hour after recording the show,
Yeah.
firstly coming up with a title and then coming up with a nice image that went with the title, which, I mean, you know, we've been cutting down how much time it takes us to do the show, as much as possible until this year, when we finally decided we can't do it anymore. But
Yeah.
you know, this was a ridiculous amount of effort just to find a nice picture and come up with a stupid name that didn't mean anything.
Yeah, when I joined the show, we were spending as much time picking the show title and the cover art for the show title after we'd recorded as we were, you know, making the actual podcast. But yeah, these were just numbers. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it goes all the way through. And so somewhere down here.
It wasn't just numbers. These were something with numbers in.
Yeah, that's right.
These might have been book titles again.
I think you're right. They were. These were book titles with numbers in the title. That's right. That's exactly what they were. Well done, Mark. So season 12. Oh, this is easy. In fact, this is too easy.
Yeah, we sort of abandoned any link to do with the name of the show, to do with the content of the show at this point, and we just, I'm sure that
I'm on delay because I can't see it on my phone. I'm having to watch the live stream, so you guys are like, "Oh, this one was really hard. This one was really hard." Guess it, and then I see it after everyone else.
Yeah, people are right. Retro games, proper games. Yes, everyone, that's it. And in this season, the most popular episode was this one, episode 20, Outrun.
So was that popular because people liked Outrun, as opposed to people liked
I
that
think
episode?
it was. Yeah, it's a game that was popular. Episode 13. No, episode
Season
13.
30.
Oh, wow.
Season
yes.
30.
This one was interesting. Okay, I remember what this one is because it's only 2 years ago.
Not too far in the past.
Yeah, but it actually took quite a bit of time. So we were still pre-generating them at the start of the season, and we did all of that up front. And so that meant, you know, writing something to generate the things. Yes, Hear the Green, you're right again. It's Superstitions and Mayak as well. Yeah. Superstitions. That's exactly it.
This was quite funny because I think we were having a conversation about this one over a curry, as we do, and I think Alan suggested it. You know, we said 13, and then Alan suggested, we come up with things like Black Cat and Walking on the Ladders. I was like, yeah, it's a really good idea, and Martin was just sort of nodding along, saying yeah. And then we got to a point, and I was like, well, what if we can't come up with enough things that are bad luck? Do we just come up with general superstitions? And at that point, Martin went, that's why you were suggesting those, because it's season 13.
Right. Yes, I was a bit slow on the uptake there. I can't remember what this one... So we're looking at season 14 now.
Well, that's the last one we've just done, isn't it?
This is this season. Oh, yes. No, I remember.
How many beers have you had?
About that much. Right, okay. Yes, Esteban, these ones, and Big Pod, these ones are indeed what 3 words.
Now,
yes,
a lot of people figured that out pretty early on, and they were trying to figure out if there was a pattern, trying to plot them on the earth, and there is no pattern. You couldn't draw lines between them and draw a smiley face or an Ubuntu logo. We did think that would be quite cool if we could do that, but we didn't. They were chosen mostly based on whatever company we talked about, their head office. So you'll find where we talk about Valve, it's their head office in Bellevue, and if we talk about Microsoft, it's their head office. And so it's generally, if you look at each of them and zoom out and figure out what's in that building, it'll be whatever we were talking about in that episode.
Right then. So that was a long answer to the what do the show titles mean. So there you go. The history of the Ubuntu Podcast show titles right there. and I've been asked, will I still maintain Pod Publish? All of the latest changes are pushed. Pull requests welcome. Or you can fork it. I'm glad somebody's using it, but that saved us. That was another thing we created to save us some time. That saved us loads of time actually doing the publishing.
Yes, I think that came out of a comment, or did Stuart Langridge had a script of some sort which he spoke about
That's
on
right.
camp, didn't he? And you thought, I can do better than that. So you wrote us a new one.
It wasn't that I could do better. It was Stuart's was very heavily skewed towards integrating with Discourse, and obviously we use WordPress. So I was like, so he said he had it on GitHub, so I just took it and, wrote a different implementation of the same thing.
We originally had something that Tony wrote.
Yes.
Tony originally wrote something that was encoding stuff, and it still exists, I think, on his revision control system. I think he uses Darks or some
Darks, yes.
darks.tonywhitmore.co.uk. You'll probably find the code there.
It's also in our archive of stuff that we have, and it was called,
which I should say is separate to the Vault of Lurv.
Yeah. It was called Podcoder.
That's it.
Right.
And when I wrote Pod Publish, I looked through Podcoder and made sure that Pod Publish did everything that Podcoder did. Because originally we were producing MP3s and OGs and what have you.
Oh, of course, yeah. We were a high quality and a low quality MP3, and a high quality and a low quality OG. And then at some point we decided to only generate high quality.
Yeah.
Then did we stopped producing OGs as well?
Yeah, when the MP3 pattern was up, we stopped doing OGs.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we even deliberated long and hard about what we should do about the OGs. And I think we just redirect the MP3 feed, the OG feed to MP3. So
we
if
have.
you previously were subscribed to the OG feed, you now get MP3s. You're welcome.
Yeah, we did do that. And also the archive of old things. The old archive on the feed. If you subscribe to that to get old episodes, you get MP3s. If you requested OGs, we're bad people. I would apologise, but we're not going to. So
there's a good question in there from Neil McPhail. What was the optimal number of presenters, 3 or 4? Well,
go on, Alan. You go first.
When I started, we had 5 presenters because we still had Simon as well.
Yeah,
but then that dropped down to 4.
Was useful, and I really enjoyed was when we had producer Laura. So some of the time, Laura wouldn't even have a microphone. She'd be in her own house, and we would invade her house, and we'd all have microphones, and she wouldn't have one. And she'd be sat on a chair, and she'd do live lookups of stuff, or check our facts or something, or we'd have a discussion with Laura, but she would not be on mic. And then later, we allowed her to have a microphone. Sorry. And I think when there's multiple of you plus someone who can do the background nonsense, a lot of time, like these live streams where you have the talent and then you have moderators or admins who help moderate the chat, that kind of thing. I think that works really well. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's difficult because in the early days we had more time because each episode was like an hour, 2 hours. Whereas now, when you've got 4 or more people, you don't get enough time in a news article or a discussion for everyone to get the point across.
Yeah.
I think one thing that was really apparent in the past was when we had 4 people and then someone wasn't there for an episode, each of us suddenly had to talk for an awful lot more, and that became very apparent. But I think now that we keep it very constrained, the fact that there's only 3 of us kind of works.
Yeah, so the only thing I would say about that is that I preferred it when there was Laura, and when we had 4 when we had 4 people. Yeah, I think that's true. I think everyone to this day, we hear that all the time. But the thing about a fourth presenter is, I think the three of us have a lot of shared opinion, so it's difficult for us to sort of create a juxtapose in some arguments, because broadly speaking we agree. So one of us has to choose to be devil's advocate on a topic, and it's better when you actually have people that have a different opinion in the discussion. So I miss a fourth person from that for that point of view.
And
Yes.
when you say about taking a different point of view, Simon mentioned something in Telegram earlier about how something we do and we've always done is someone will be the stooge and ask the questions. Someone will play the idiot, and I'm pretty good at playing an idiot on a podcast by asking stupid questions like, "Oh, what's that then?" And that I think that works really well. But yeah, you're right. If we don't have opposing points of view, or a bit of conflict, then yeah, it can be a bit. We all agree on a news article, or we all feel. And the other part of that is people who listen think we're just stooges, and not stooges. Think we're just yes men who toe the party line. Like people used to have a go at me because I liked Unity, and they thought that was because I was a company man, and I only liked Unity because I worked at Canonical. It's like, well, no, I liked Unity before I started working at Canonical. I liked Unity, and so if all of you on a podcast that carries the brand name agree on something, people think there's something wrong, and that didn't do us any favors, I think.
Okay, I see there's a few other questions coming in. There's definitely one here we're going to get to, and there's definitely some trolling going on that I'm spotting. Now, Alan, just so you're aware, I'm just going to make some tweaks to your camera, and during this moment, you're going to be the only thing on screen, and nobody will be able to hear anything. Okay, so we're just going to do that because we cropped Alan's camera for his webcam, but now he's changed devices. We're just going to make his camera a bit bigger.
Just do it.
There we go.
Oh, you look much more comfortable now.
He does
My arm
look
shaved off.
he does look like a child sat in a car. Can you reach the top shelf? Can you get the sweets?
Oh dear.
Right. Okay. We've had a couple of questions about old episodes and what have you, and I know Roger sent us some feedback on this. So Roger actually said, on the off chance that you wanted to fix the missing episodes on the YouTube channel, I can tell you which ones are missing. And he provided us a list, which was very helpful. Thank you, Roger. This is a bit of history of the Ubuntu podcast that I think we talked about a little bit, but in short, our YouTube channel got banned twice, like full on hard ban. And I think I remember how we managed to get banned in the first place. And it was us being silly and we didn't realise. I think the plan was all of those back up episodes we were just looking at here, all these playlists, everything that has the little sort of starburst, all of these back seasons, I encoded these videos at some point, and we decided it would be a good idea to make that entire back catalogue live at the same time the Queen's speech was happening at whatever Christmas it was that year, which we did. So
2015, I think it was.
Yeah, so we set live 300 episodes of the Ubuntu podcast and got insta-banned from YouTube, and our account was deleted, properly deleted.
What happened was, because we uploaded and looked like a robot, that didn't help. But I think actually because suddenly there was a flood of hundreds of videos that appeared in people's feeds. I think people complained and reported. And when it wasn't because of copyrighted content or anything, it was just community strikes. And because we uploaded 300 videos, that meant all it took was a few people to hit the button. And that was it. And it normally takes 3 strikes. And people are like, oh, I've had a strike. And then like later on, oh, I've had another strike. Oh, I've got to be really careful. And there might be months or years between those 2 things. But because we uploaded all 300 in one day, those 3 strikes all landed, bam, at 3 o'clock on Christmas Day. And none of us were monitoring this thing. And we're like, oh, our account.
So, yeah, so that's how it went down that first time. And because we put so many things live, the episodes that got flagged were spread across that whole thing. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in episode 1, a handful in episode 2, some in season 5, season 6, season 7, and lots in season 8. And so those were the ones that people were actually reporting, which caused the whole channel to go. So there's gaps where those videos were just proper deleted and they're gone. So I think we went for about a year or more with no YouTube channel at all. And Alan, you had a contact at Google.
Yeah, it was about 6 months. And we tried contacting Google and they told us to get lost. And like they tell everyone, unless you've got like a mobilized social media army, these days, but they told us to get lost. But I had a friend who worked at Google and he found it almost impossible to speak to anyone in the YouTube team as well. And even internally, they're impossible to speak to. But eventually he managed to tag someone and they emailed us and let us know that, they very graciously would unblock our account once the mail was forwarded that described what went wrong.
Right.
And they unblocked it. Yeah.
They did. And so what I then did is I knew which episodes were missing from the back catalogue because of them being, reported. So I uploaded one and that went through and it was fine. So then I re-uploaded all of the other missing ones and Google took our channel down a second time. So we lost our channel again.
Yeah, that was frustrating.
Yeah,
but we did get it back. Actually.
Yeah. So those are the ones that are missing. So we know which ones they are, and at some point I will try to re-upload them.
There is another missing episode, the one that we refer to in hushed tones as the lost episode.
Yeah.
So this was, I think what happened was Tony and Laura went on holiday, which meant only Alan and I were around to record a particular episode. So what happened was I went over to Alan's house and we didn't have, so at the time we would record in person and we basically, Tony had a proper mixing desk and we had 4 microphones plugged into it and a phone interface plugged into it and a compressor in line and a proper setup, just pulled out into a living room of an evening and popped away again afterwards. But when we went round to Alan's house, we didn't have all that. I think we were recording on a Zoom, a Z4 handheld recording device. No?
No. We were recording on my beloved MP3 player, which was an iRiver IHP. Yes. We recorded
that was it. So we had a couple of microphones hooked up to that, or a microphone that we were like doing the John Lennon and Paul McCartney thing onto that. And I remember what the episode was about because there had been a Humble Indie Bundle released, and we did a review of all the games in that Humble Indie Bundle, which we'd been playing that week.
That would have been a good episode.
We managed to do that pretty well, even without our gaming correspondent Tony being there. I think we did pretty well there.
Yeah. This was before Martin was even on the show, and we managed to cover games. So that was quite remarkable.
Excellent.
Yeah. So we recorded this show. And I can't remember exactly what happened. Was it that your MP3 player crashed, or was it that we tried editing it but the audio was so bad? But yeah,
I have
for whatever
very-
reason,
that there was the audio was on there, but it was corrupted in some way. And at some point, I took the thing apart because it had one of those little, tiny little
Micro drives.
micro hard drives in, and I took it out in order to use it with a compact flash adapter, in order to, get the audio off it. But the disc was completely corrupt, so I couldn't get the files. In fact, I think the only files that were readable were like audiobooks and podcasts that were on there, but I could not get the audio for the show off that hard drive, and it sat on my desk for years as a project we should get to at some point.
Mm.
And I think actually I tried again, and I couldn't even get the drive to spin up, and I binned it. That was it. It went. Goodbye. So it is properly lost now.
Yeah, so season 6, episode 30 will never be backfilled in the catalogue of episodes. That one is definitely gone forever. There have been other episodes that we've recorded where things have gone horribly wrong and we've had to re-record them. And in fact, the reason I'm a co-presenter on the Ubuntu podcast is because of that very manifestation. At the start of season 7, yeah, you recorded 2 episodes just before Laura went on holiday, and the audio was busted, and you contacted me and said, we've recorded 2 episodes and we can't use them. Do you want to join us to record 2 episodes so we can put 2 out this week? So I joined for 2, and then because Laura was away, I joined for 2 more. And then I got this glowing endorsement from Alan that said, "Oh, you're all right at this. Do you want to stick around?"
I seem to remember my recruitment being similar. I think everyone in this case, everyone except for Tony and Laura was on holiday. So this is when there were 3 other presenters, but neither of them could make it, and I happened to live down the road. So,
right.
Last ditch attempt. Quick, who can we get here in an hour? Call Mark. So I was on borrowed equipment and talked for a bit, and then it was like, oh yeah, do you want to do it again? And then they never got rid of me, really.
Much as we tried, we had to completely end the podcast in order to get rid of Mark. Don't tell him. Me and Martin are coming back.
They've been hinting really hard for like 12 years, but you don't get rid of me that easily.
So we've participated in Foss Talk Live since Joe Ressington created that event, and one of the questions we had come in is, will Ubuntu Podcast be coming back for one more episode at Foss Talk Live? We haven't discussed this, so there's nothing like doing it in public. Alan?
Well, I suppose...
Mark?
Well, I suppose the question is there going to be another Foss Talk Live?
Yeah, well, maybe Joe can answer that question. Joe, are you gonna do another Foss Talk Live?
I think he's also just asked that question in the chat. So, it's who knows what happens in the future. If there's another Foss Talk Live, maybe we do something for it.
Let's assume there is one. The last 2 have worked out quite fun. I've enjoyed doing the ones which are not the Ubuntu podcast, like our format with us sat on stage reading the news and doing all that kind of stuff. I don't think we had any. A couple of times it was fun, but I think we had more fun the last 2 times where we developed something and it was completely not our podcast. It was just,
the 3 of us.
presenting things we've created. And I like that because we're making something, and it's something that nobody else has done. Because, like, who's going to create a video game using Bash that has like high refresh rate and audio samples and explosions, and it supports a Steam controller? Like, nobody's going to do that, but Martin did. And so I think the whole thing of Foss Talk Live is a worthwhile thing to do.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know if you two agree with this, I think this year's Foss Talk Live, where we had Stuart join us and we all created different projects, I think it was maybe that, like, collaborative. Well, we weren't collaborating, but that creative process for me, that kind of made me think, that was really good fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I could be doing more of that. And I think was, basically what I'm saying is all Joe Ressington's fault for creating Voss Talk Live, where there's no Ubuntu podcast anymore, because we realised there was something else that we enjoyed spending our time doing.
What about you, Mark?
What about me? Oh, what would I do another Voss Talk Live? I mean, certainly I think I agree with you that, if we were to do it again, we'd probably do the similar sort of thing where we come up with a challenge and we don't do the show format. We do, the previous show format, whatever. We do us doing a thing and presenting it. Because, it's, as you say, it was fun a couple of times to do the show in front of the audience. And we've done it at Old Camp as well. And, it works if you've got time to plan it, like, in that little slot. And if it helps if there's more people. But when you're doing it live, you kind of want it to be a bit different. I think we've said before, you kind of want an element of performance. And I don't think our normal format lends itself to performance very well.
No.
Whereas having something to show on a screen and saying, look at this ridiculous thing I've made, isn't it stupid?
Yeah.
Is a much better performance.
I think what's also good about that is the secrecy of the big reveal on stage. Like, none of us knew what each other was creating, and well, for the one that we did this year, none of us knew until like an hour or so beforehand, when we all made our little cut videos and shared them with each other. We're all furiously watching each other's videos, trying to think of some feedback before the show, which is like an hour later. We gave ourselves quite a harsh deadline to make a thing and make a video about the thing and show it to each other an hour before the podcast goes live.
Yeah. And
then have real world reactions to those videos. And I think that worked really well, even though, my game was terrible and it's on itch.io and it's had like 2 downloads. That's fine. But it's good fun. The secret bit, I think, is one of the best elements, is the fact that we keep it secret from each other.
Yeah.
And I think
we don't know what each other have done. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the only reason we did that little reveal beforehand is because of the nature of Voss Talk Live this year, it being remote. We couldn't. I mean, because I needed to see stuff, I needed to have things. It would have been unfair for one of us to have known all of this. So we did this little group share. I think it was about an hour before. That was good. I enjoyed it. It was good fun. There's Voss Talk Live.
Marius. Question from Marius: was you doing the Ubuntu podcast ever impacted by working for Canonical? Did you ever get asked not to cover a topic?
No.
I never worked for Canonical, so I never got asked not to cover a topic.
Well, now, to be fair, Davey was the first one who started working for Canonical long before I did, and he started at Canonical, and I'm not aware of him ever being told not to talk about something.
So there's the element of you were never told specifically not to talk about something on the show, but on the other hand, I guess there were things which you weren't able to talk about in public at all, regardless of it being on the podcast. If someone said so, I think I know Alan's NDA face. So there was a few. there have been a few occasions on the podcast where we've been talking about something which we're like, we're speculating, oh, maybe this is coming up. And Alan's sitting there going, who knows? And then, a couple of months down the line, that thing happens.
Yeah.
I think over the years, I've got quite a good feel for when Alan knows something, but, it's not something where you're specifically told, you do the Ubuntu podcast, don't you talk about that? But on the other hand, you work for a company and there are commercially sensitive things which you're not allowed to talk about in public, I assume.
Yeah, so that's true, but nobody ever approached us to say, do not talk about this thing, don't discuss this controversy in the community, whatever that weekly Ubuntu controversy might be. I did find it difficult sometimes to say what I wanted to say, because there was things that I knew about which were under NDA because of other companies, you know, working with Nvidia or Intel or, you know, Microsoft and what have you. And I would have opinions about things, but I maybe didn't have any inside information, but I felt cautious about sharing my opinions in case it was misconstrued as me revealing something about what was going on. So I quite liked it when I'd left and those NDAs didn't apply anymore and announcements were made about hardware I knew about and I could be free of that.
Just so you're aware, your NDA applies for a year after you leave. But okay.
Yeah, well, but the announcements have happened for the stuff that I was aware of, so it's like it's done. So but the inverse happened. We did get approached to be asked to talk about things on the podcast, which we didn't do.
Yeah, there'll be conversations where someone from marketing who no longer works at the company, so I don't mind saying this, would say, "Oh, you guys could talk about it on the show." We're like, "Mm-hmm." Yes, we could. But I mean, the thing is, like, you've got to remember, like, we're doing this as a passion project. None of us are getting paid to do the podcast.
Right.
For 14 years, none of us have taken a single penny for making this thing, and all the contributions that we've done over the last year have gone to Joe in order to make the show better, right? So we've all bought audio gear, we've paid for domain renewals. I'm not bitter about this. I'm just stating facts. And when we started working at Canonical, it was still a passion project, a community thing. And the reason we did it is because we wanted to promote and talk about Ubuntu, and we wanted Ubuntu to succeed. And so we would talk about the things that we thought would help that. Sometimes we talk about negative things. The most difficult time, I think, was 2017, when, you know, the big let go of staff and the downsize of the company happened. That was the most stressful part, because we just couldn't talk about that. Yet it was us and our friends who were being made redundant or let go from the company. You know, I sent emails on a Friday and they bounced on the Monday. The people I work with, my friends, were no longer in the company and their emails no longer worked. And overnight, effectively, they were gone. And that was quite stressful.
Because Canonicals are distributed organizations with people in lots of different countries. Some people were let go like immediately, and others, because of the employment law in different countries, there was a 4 or 6 week period. So for a long time, people just didn't know who was staying, who was going, and it was a really awkward time. So nobody wanted to talk about it because you didn't know if it was going to be you or not, and you didn't know who was going to be affected by it. In a similar vein, Alan, don't hate me for this, but somebody asked, is there a common reason as to Martin and Alan leaving Canonical?
Well, you'd have to ask them.
Yeah.
The thing, people ping me online and ask me, why did Martin leave Canonical? I'm like, it's the same way you could have pinged him.
Yeah.
Asked him. I don't know that. It's when anyone leaves a company, right? It's personal. Like, everyone has their own reasons for moving on. I was there for 9 years, and before that, I was contributing in the community for, I don't know, 3-4 years. That's a long time to do one thing. And so an opportunity came along and I took it. So that's the short answer.
Yeah, no, so I would say there's probably not common reasons why Alan and I chose to leave. We had our reasons, and we've found different opportunities in different industry. Well, obviously tech, but in different parts of the industry, doing different things now. Right. Okay. So there's something that I want to get to, because there another one season. I forget which season it was. When was the Mycroft popular?
Was it ever?
Oh, sorry. What was the year everyone ordered a Mycroft and couldn't get one or didn't get one?
It was
I don't know.
around, what, 2016, 2017, I feel like saying, but it might have been later than that.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you when that.
It coincided with one of the
It was
Foss Talk
around-
years.
I'm trying to remember it because it was around when I started my current job, because I remember I used to listen to Linux Unplugged on my long commute to work, and that was when they would lots of talk about Mycroft.
Okay.
So I feel that must be about 5 years ago. So what's that? 2016.
We're being told it was 2017. I just need to take a step out of the room for literally like 2 or 3 minutes. So I'll be back. I'm just going to mute my microphone. If you just continue this conversation, when we return, I'll have stuff.
So, let me tell you about why my voice was used early on in the microphone. I went to a conference. I think it was OSCON, and it was in Austin, Texas. And I was on the Ubuntu stand, I think, and Ryan Sipes, who was, I think he was community
manager.
Yeah, for Mycroft. While Mycroft was still, nobody had a device. This was in the early days when it was in crowdfunding stage. He said to me, you should be the voice of Mycroft. And I was like, don't be silly. That's very funny, but no. And he was serious, and he said it a few times. He wasn't like relentless, but he did say it a few times. And then I think eventually he sent me a mail, and I got in touch with Joshua, who was the CEO, and they said, you could be the voice. Ryan suggested it, and so they connected me with this company, and the company is not their goal isn't to make voices for open source crowdfunded voice. The company, and I can't remember for the life of me, but I could probably figure it out. They make voices that go into like a storage, and someone who have an illness or a disease or something which takes away their voice can then choose to have one of these voices that are in their data storage and combine it with maybe some elements of their own voice that may be remaining or recordings of their own voice and have it synthesized so that they could have a Stephen Hawking-like device that sounds more like them. So it's to enable people who, unfortunately, through disease or accident have lost their voice, to enable them to have a voice. And a whole bunch of people record their voice for this company, donate their voice to this company, and then patients or sufferers can choose whichever voice to use. And that was nice. That was a heartwarming, worthwhile thing to do. So I thought, yeah, okay, I'll donate my voice. The downside was the amount of effort required to do it. It's actually recorded in this room, which was my son's bedroom at the time. So that was like 8 years ago or something like that. And I sat on the floor and I had to hang blankets all over the place in order to deaden the noise. And I had a blue snowball microphone and my laptop on a little table. And I sat on the floor just here. And the website would bring up a sentence, a phrase. And you'd hit start recording and you'd say the phrase. And you had to say the phrase completely deadpan. No intonation, no going up at the end when it's a question, no emphasis. There's quotation marks, you don't pause, no commas, nothing. You read it deadpan. And that is super hard. It's really hard when you're reading a piece of text not to put any inflection in it at all, especially when you have to record like 10 hours of it. And so I recorded some 8-10 hours, something like that, of these phrases. And the annoying thing was the phrases were recognizable. There were like bits of Moby Dick, bits of other books from Gutenberg, bits of Wikipedia, and my brain would be like, oh, I recognize that. And like, no, don't think, just say the phrase and then hit stop. And so I had to go through all of these. And I think possibly I didn't do the best job. It was the very first voice acting thing I'd ever done. And I don't think I did a particularly good job, which is partly why the voice in the Mycroft doesn't sound particularly good. It's certainly recognizable as me, but I don't think it's the best voice. Probably didn't have the best audio setup. Anyway, that's the story of how the Mycroft voice was recorded. There you go.
So does this mean that there's a possibility that there are other human beings going around with a synthesized voice based on your voice as well?
There are. If you go to the website, you can see how many people are using your
Oh,
voice.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it tells
That's
you
really
they're
cool.
still using it, but yeah, there are. It's one of the things. It's like, you know, like the Mozilla Common Voice thing. It's very like the user interface where you say a word and then you move on to the next one. You say another word and you move on to the next one. And if you flub it, you just say it again and then move on to the next one. But in the admin section of the website, you can see how many people have used or consumed the content you've used. I don't know how many it is. I haven't logged onto the site for years, but yeah, that's where the voice came from. Now, since then, Mycroft have used a different tool, which is way better and produces much better audio. Because the one I was using did create Stephen Hawking style voice, like something from 10 years ago, not,
Yes.
Lady Cylinder or Google style, very human-like voices, which they've now got a much more human-like voice.
Yeah. And
Now-
wasn't there a website at some point where you could put in phrases and it would generate it using your Mycroft voice?
Oh yeah, so that's the other thing. Because it was baked into Mycroft, the Mycroft's open source. If you just download the Mycroft source code, my voice is in there. Even still now, like there's the version 2 source and the version 1 or whatever the versions are. Mine's still in there, and you can make it say anything. And a guy, it's a really interesting guy called Fretzel, who's in our Telegram, who doesn't say a lot on Telegram. He's not in IT. He doesn't have a career in IT. He works as like a heating installer engineer in Canada. And he just was bored one day and he set up a website called Blame Popey. And unfortunately, it's down now. But you could type anything you want into Blame Popey. And under the covers, it ran the Mycroft stuff to generate a WAV file that you could then hit play on or download. And you have an audio file of me saying anything.
Which was fun. But then Fretzel upped his game a little bit and started to create...
It wasn't Fretzel who did the bit you're talking about.
Go on. Who was it?
Hey Citizen.
Oh, yes, it was. Hey Citizen.
Sorry.
So, Hey Citizen then took the ability to get Popey to say anything and create something like this.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna run on me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb, with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Fed ceilings and like it the ground running. Didn't make sense not to make for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets done soon.
Now, we actually made an LP of these. So, I'll tell you what, people in chat, there are several of these. Some are short. I'll go for the short ones, but yeah, we made an LP of this, and we gave the LP away as a competition prize.
For the kids, Martin. What do you mean by LP?
we took these generated Popey. We called them Popey Sings. These songs of Popey's robotic voice singing to contemporary music, and we had 5 vinyl long playing records pressed of this, and the album title was Pretty Fly for an AI, and this is the album cover art. And this is the cover song.
Title track.
Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. And all the girls say I'm pretty fly for an AI.
So that was the title track.
If we play any more of that, YouTube are going to give us copyright strikes again.
Yeah.
I can't find it. So, Mateus, as we were preparing for this, I said somewhere I have got one last of these LPs and I cannot find it for the life of me. It is somewhere and I realise it's yours. My favourite is the beginning of this one.
Dum dum. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest I've ever seen. Give him 2 lips, like roses and a cake. Then tell him that his nose likes dark brown. Sandman, I'm so alone. Don't have nobody to call my own. Please.
This kind of nonsense is one of the massive upsides of doing a podcast, because we've run competitions and things over the years and we get all of these amazing creations from listeners and what have you, and it's just absolutely fabulous.
So I think there's definitely something worth mentioning here, which is, so when we started the podcast, when the podcast was started by Alan and the others, the intention was always that it was the podcast from the Ubuntu UK community. And as part of that, on the original site, there was a page where you could submit your own content for the show, kind of like Hacker Public Radio does, where you can just record a bit and send it in, and that will be included in the show. And we very rarely got any submissions. But then one year we started getting these emails with audio attached from a man called Robin Catling, who came up with this amazing character called Wing Commander Sir Arthur Curmudgeon. And we would quite often just play these into the show. I think at this point we'd started recording them what we called as live. So we weren't live streaming at this point, but we were just recording it in one go and then chopping it up and putting it out. So we'd play these into the show without any of us having listened to what Robin had sent us. And it with these amazing little skits with the Wing Commander Sir Arthur Curmudgeon talking nonsense at us. And it was just comedy gold. I don't know where he came up with the idea and how he managed to just keep doing it every fortnight. He just kept sending us these things out of the blue, no conversation with us, no briefing, no request from us, and just kept going. And then the next season he came up with a whole new thing called Tomorrow's Technology Today, and kept going with it. So I think it's, if you look at season, and the funny thing is then, in fact, when Ubuntu announced the phone, I can't remember what was the phone called, Alan?
Wait, what? Oh, the
crowdfunded. Yes. So the Ubuntu Edge, there was a marketing slide for that with the slogan "Tomorrow's Technology Today," while we had that on the show, and I always thought, maybe someone's been listening. But yeah, I think it's season 4 and 5. Perhaps if you go back and listen to those, you'll hear those slotted in, and it is just brilliant. And yeah, Robin was at the Odd Camp in Farnham. In fact, we got to actually meet him and chat to him in person. He's also an Olympic fencer, if I remember correctly. So yeah, a man of many talents, Robin.
Yes, I have forwarded. Oh no, there's the one I've missed. Which I've been forwarding them all to our Telegram channel, which is ubuntupodcast.org/Telegram. So you too can have all these audio files of me singing these things. So a big thank you to Hey Citizen who made those.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that people do this.
You could say that these are
Yes.
A few of my favourite things. Ding.
Should we mention Bean?
Yeah. Can we still find it? Can you send me a link to that? Because I think it's unlisted.
No, I'll just mention it.
Go on then.
So, at some point, I mentioned to the people at Mycroft that I didn't even have a Mycroft. It had my voice in. And they were like, oh, sorry. Oh, we'll send you one. And they shipped one to me. I had to pay the import duty as it came into the UK. Not that I'm bitter. And I unpacked it, put it all together, and the software, kind of worked. It was very early and prototyping, but it worked. And then I did that whole "What Are Beans" video. And I went to a conference like a year later. And I hadn't spoken to any of the Mycroft people since then. And Joshua, the CEO, was there, and I felt so embarrassed because that video, which makes Mycroft look really janky and awful, it was pretty bad. But he was fine about it. He was very, very, very magnanimous about it. Oh, you found it? Brilliant!
I found it.
Here
we go.
What this whole thing, do we?
So, 5th of July, 2017.
Hey, Mycroft,
When it was.
what are beans?
How did you?
I assume we can't hear this, but the stream can.
Yeah, the stream can, yeah. It's having a think.
I think my
Serving
favourite.
size 130g, total
Is,
calories 132, fat
what is it
calories
said?
4%, daily value asterisk, total fat 433 mg, 1%, saturated
Carbohydrates
fat
or something.
61
Yeah.
mg, 0%, trans fat
Basically listing the
0%,
carbon and
sodium
material
264
elements that make up
mg,
beans.
11%, total
I mean, he's not wrong.
25
Mycroft,
g,
shut up.
8%,
No, I think the best bit of it is Alan saying, "Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up."
Enough about beans.
Mycroft, I've heard enough about beans.
Vitamin C 5%,
Keep
calcium
stabbing
5%, iron 14%, thiamine
But
14%.
yes, that's what-
You're pressing it and telling it all sorts of things, and it's just not showing up.
Vitamin B6
And
there was also the-
9%.
I guess this was
magnesium 12%.
this was before that when we did the Foss Talk Live.
It's still
We did
listing
the Foss
stuff.
Talk Live where you made your
your
lunchbox Mycroft,
Oh, that's better.
where we just played clips made with your synthesized voice.
Yes. Happy days.
There we go.
So,
Well, look,
the-
if there's any reason to join our, oh, there we go. Bill's posted it already. Thank you, Bill, in our Telegram.
now, but it's a lot of views for an unlisted video.
Right.
The reason is I made it public a little while ago, and then suddenly it bumped up and started getting seen a lot more, and it was embedded in a few websites, which is why it got that many views. I mean, it's not exactly viral, but it's a little piece of history there, a little piece of history.
Yeah. And I believe you made a robot who was our co-presenter. I think our second Voss Talk Live, which was where we had the whole LP and album and everything. We had this fourth presenter, which was Alan's alter ego.
I think that worked quite well. It was, what was in the box? I think there was
Macaroni. And
macaroni and a breadboard and some wires.
And what are those sweets?
Next to my bed. That is
Dolly
still
mixtures.
the bedside table. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it rattled. It properly rattled. Right then, there's loads of people joining our Telegram now because they clearly want to get at the audio and stuff. Well, so that was the Mycroft era of the Ubuntu podcast. Those were fun times. So, I think we've sort of answered people's questions that have come up and what have you. Now, Roger did send us a quiz, but I don't have the link, so I can't get there easily.
Where did he send the link?
I can't remember.
Was it in
Was it on
Telegram?
Twitter, maybe?
No.
So something while we're fumbling around for this, something that you should know about Roger, other than the fact that he made Mosquito, which is an MQTT broker used by all sorts of things, is he made this amazing online game called Fibbing Dice, which we play occasionally, which is based on a real life dice game called Perudo. And yeah, there's an online version of it, which basically you each roll some dice and then you try and convince each other that you got higher numbers than you did. And it's a very enjoyable game to play over a few beers with some friends. Here we go. We've got the quiz up. But yes, Roger is an absolute legend and community hero.
He is.
Should be said.
And what we were talking about there is, I believe it's fibbingdice.com. Here you go. If you want to have fun with friends over the internet because of, lockdown and all the rest of it, this was a game that we were playing with Roger and a circle of friends on occasion. It's been far too long. We should probably, I'll tell you what, we should live stream one of these. This is quality entertainment. But Roger's quiz. So Roger made a quiz. I haven't looked at this. It's about the Ubuntu podcast. So shall we collaboratively try and answer these questions? So Roger also did some analysis of all of our episodes, that's on Twitter, right?
Yeah, let's do this first.
Okay. Right then. What was the longest season duration of audio?
I'm going to say season, because we had some long episodes in that first season.
Yeah,
but how often were they going out?
Yeah. Oh, that's true. It was only half as often.
Yeah, but some of them were monsters.
I reckon towards the point where we switched over to doing one a week instead of one a fortnight. So I'd say maybe season 3.
Okay, go for it.
Right then, we will pick season 3. What was the shortest season? I think it's this one. It must be episode 14 because we've only got 30 episodes and we usually do about 40 to 42.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go with that. What was the shortest season number of episodes? Well, surely that must be the early ones when you used to do hour-long episodes.
Yes.
So
maybe 2 or 3?
2 or 3 or 1? What are we choosing?
Shortest. Sorry, which question are we on? Because
we're on, I think this is the third question. What was the shortest season by number of episodes?
Yeah, that's this one.
Oh, but hang on a minute. Audio duration.
Because we've done more than before. We did one episode a fortnight, and we've done more than so we normally do 40 something episodes a year if we do once a week. So if we did 20 something, 21 or 2, 20 something around that a season, then that would be the least if we were doing them once a fortnight. So I'd say that would be 2 or 3. If I can't remember, it was always inconsistent.
Yeah,
us arguing about this is the exact reason why people told us they didn't want us to have quizzes in the podcast.
Right, we'll go for the middle ground. It's 2.
We've got a clip about that we can play if you like.
Oh, yes. Maybe I don't have that one. I'm not sure.
So I think you put it in there. Anyway.
What season did the format change from once per fortnight to once per week?
I have no idea. I'm
going to say 5.
Okay.
Don't know.
I wasn't around, but I think it might have been 4.
Okay. I think
but I don't know.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Go on, Mark. Final answer.
All right. I'm going to say 5.
5. Okay. What was the longest episode? Use the format SXXEXX. So, like you say, Alan, some of your early episodes were long. And
Season 1, episode 10.
Season 1, episode 10. Not your favourite, Season 1, episode 11 that you mentioned the other day.
I actually listened to that the other day. It stands up. It really does stand up.
What was the shortest episode? That's going to be something like Season 4, episode 00, because we used to do these, we're coming back, and they used to be like 5 minutes or something like that. So
it's got to be one of the episode zeros.
Yeah, so I'm going to go for Season 5, episode 00, just because, you know, it's going to be one of them. What was... Go on.
The shortest real episode?
Oh, I see. Crafty, Roger, crafty.
Crafty, indeed. Season...
I think it's Season 14. Because Joe's been putting pressure on us to keep them tight.
Yeah. Okay. We've managed about 25 minutes or so on occasion, haven't we? So let's go for Season 14. Where are we? We're episode 30. Let's choose one from 4 weeks ago. Let's go for episode 26. How does that sound?
You know, I could say it was whatever it was, Season 6, episode 30. Nobody can ever confirm or deny.
Right, and this is an outlier from Roger's analysis, of course. Should we put that in as our answer, because it's categorically the right one? It's Season 6, episode 30 is the correct answer, which Roger doesn't know. So there we go.
Laura in the chat is saying Season 1, episode 3 was the longest.
Was the longest? What? Oh,
I feel like she's got a long memory and remembers that one.
Who was in the most episodes? Well, it's Alan.
Got to be.
Yeah, absolutely, it's Alan. How many members of the Ubuntu Podcast team have there been?
Whoa.
Go on.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Samantha?
Yeah, okay.
No, because Samantha only joined us once we were remote. Whereas you were in before it went remote, and you've been in the whole time, so you've been in more episodes than Samantha.
Yeah, I'm just trying to screw with Roger's quiz.
Unfortunately, Mark is right there. So, how many members of the podcast team have there been, not including guest presenters?
7.
Oh.
Okay, which is...
Are we including Samantha in this count?
Oh. Yeah,
She might. Yeah.
So there's
I wouldn't want to piss her off.
Mark, Laura, Davey, Simon, Samantha,
and Tony,
and me.
I mean, you could call Joe a member of the team.
Ooh.
It depends on how you define the team, doesn't it?
Joe's definitely been a member of the team for more than like 2.5 years. He's been doing our post production.
Oh, Joe says he's not included.
Oh, yeah, Joe's not allowed. Okay.
Also, sometimes it wasn't Joe who did the edit. Sometimes it was someone else from JB.
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was another named individual. 1, 2,
This is
3,
this is an
4,
ambiguous
5,
question.
6, 7, 8. So we think 8 because we're including Samantha.
Yeah.
Laura's given some detail as to why Season 1, Episode 3 was the longest. Apparently, it's because Alan was drunk.
Right, I'm going to have to go back and listen to that now.
Sounds legit. And it says here, how many plays / pantomimes did the podcast perform?
Oh, now this is great. So we used to do for the Christmas episode. We used to do these pantos. Like we'd turn up at Tony's house and he'd have written this script, and then we'd spend an hour before he'd talk us, like we'd do like a dress rehearsal where we went through, and we'd be going, oh, add this joke, add this pun in this line, and it would be based on a classic pantomime, but with a weird like open source technology theme. There was an amazing episode where we convinced Alan. I think you'd already started working for Canonical at this point, and we convinced you to do an impression of Mark Shuttleworth with a terrible South African accent.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Put your career on the line for your art.
I remember sitting there in Tony and Laura's lounge, watching tutorial videos on how to talk South African. Yeah.
So I'm fully expecting a message from Joe Ressington in the chat about his frequent request I used to get Mark, not this Mark Shuttleworth, to get Mark Shuttleworth to record a specific phrase, which is a line from the the Mel Gibson film. Anyway,
Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah, Diplomatic Immunity. Right, so what we're going for, we've had a suggestion 6 might be the right answer from Yannick for the number of...
That feels like too many.
That feels like a lot.
I think it was only 3.
3. There it is.
We did, hold on, let me have a think. We did Jack and the Beanstalk. We did we did The Night Before Christmas as like a poem. What else did we do? We did A Christmas Carol. I think we did one more.
Okay, so that sounds like 4.
I think 4 at most, maybe 3.
Right then. Okay, we're going to submit our answers and see how we did. Right then.
Scroll up to the top.
Scroll to the top. Okay, let's have a look. What have we got here?
I don't think we've got any of these.
The longest... whoa, it was 9. Wow. We must have started late that year or something then. Season 9.
Season 9 was over 20.
Oh, God, yeah, sorry. It's the longest season.
Was over 26.5 hours long. What was the long... Season 9. So we must have had a bunch of like interviews from events or something like that in season 9 to make that long.
Yeah.
God, I'm going to have to go back and listen.
Yeah. Motivation for everyone to go and explore the back catalogue of the Ubuntu Podcast. So yes, season 14, we were right. It is the shortest with just 15 hours and 43 minutes. Only just behind season 1, 15 hours and 50. So season 1 was actually one of the shortest.
Sorry.
So there you go.
Just point out how nice these answers are.
Yeah.
Not yes or no. This is great.
Yeah, brilliant. So what was the shortest season? It was season 1. We've now just learned.
Season 1 or 2?
Oh, 1 or 2. Both
seasons.
20 episodes long. Okay, so that was all right then. What season did the format change? Wow, season 6. You did 6 seasons doing hour-long episodes, crikey, or close to an hour long. Unfortunately, what's this here? Wow. What was the longest episode?
We were all wrong.
Yeah, so season 2, episode 11, slip back. 1 hour and 35 minutes. What on earth were you thinking?
I'm intrigued to know what was in that episode.
Wow, what the heck is season 11, episode 99?
Hang on. Hold on. We have some updates. Season 2, episode 11.
Yeah.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 news items. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 events in one episode. Holy. And we also dived into the Ubuntu ecosphere, crossed out, Gerald, crossed out, Harold, crossed out, Phyllis, crossed out, Fear, crossed out, Margaret, crossed out, Nigel. The Ubuntu Nigel. 1, 2, 3. There's like 8 things in there as well. It was a monster episode.
And then presumably there was a discussion segment or 3.
No, I think at this there was. Oh, I don't know. Oh, there was an interview as well. Wow. It was a bumper show.
What time did
What
you
do
get
we-
home after that? Because let's remember, you weren't doing things remotely at this point. You were driving to somebody's house and recording in person, and then all going home afterwards.
In the show notes, I have to. Let me just read this for you. At over 1.5 hours, this is our longest episode ever. Sorry to those of you who prefer short shows or try and curb our babbling in future. In our defense, we have a fantastic interview that we just couldn't cut up. Enjoy. As ever, your feedback is always welcome. Details at the end of this post. So that was, that was in 2009. Wow.
There we go.
Wow.
That's when internet
Yes,
bandwidth
and-
was expensive.
But also remember, we didn't do these as live at the time. We would record a segment and then we would stop and we'd have tea and cake and a chat, and then we'd get ready for the next segment, and then we'd stop and we'd have tea and cake and chat. And sometimes if we started a segment and we screwed it up, we would stop and we would restart, and everyone would get frustrated. And sometimes we'd have to have another cup of tea. It was all.
How long do you
it
reckon
was
that
a long
episode
process.
actually took to record then?
Oh, days. Joe, the fun thing is we used to have comments. This is a WordPress website. We used to have comments, and the first comment is from someone correcting us on how we pronounce Ubuntu.
And Laura is in the chat, and she says, season 2, you may still have been recording at the weekends back then.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it might have been an entire Saturday.
Wow.
I remember I think one of the first episodes, recording here at my house. We sat in my office downstairs, which is now my bedroom, and the office is now up here. We sat in there and we recorded a segment. And then we all got up, as Martin said, went and got a cup of tea, and then sat in the lounge and had a chat, drinking our cup of tea, playing with the cat and the kids. And then we're like, right, we should record another. It took all day to record this thing, because we'd keep going in and out the room, because it turned into a hot sweat box of a room with all of us, recording our episode in there. It was completely the wrong way to do a podcast, but it was jolly good fun.
Yeah, and talking about feedback, I remember that regarding episode length, we used to get feedback on more than one occasion from people who didn't like the fact that our episode didn't match the specific length of their commute to their job.
Oh, we get
And
that
even
a lot,
on
yeah.
one occasion, we had an episode where there was a listener who would download our episodes and then burn them to CD to listen to in the car. And we released an episode which was too long to fit on a single CD, and they were not happy about that.
I think it was season 2, episode 11.
Probably, yes. Anyway, please.
So the shortest episode was apparently season 11, episode 9.
Episode 99.
99. And I know I was responsible for this, but I can't remember what it is. It's only 50 seconds long. It's an announcement about the listener get-together. Crikey.
Yeah.
That was good. I loved that.
Yeah,
So
Reading.
yeah, as in Reading,
Brewdog
yeah.
in Reading.
Yeah, that was a fab evening. Yeah, wow, that was great. Remember when we used to go out, meet people, hug, all that sort of stuff?
I love how the announcement says we're having a get together in Reading, UK, on Saturday, March 16th, 2019. The exact venue is not decided yet, but it'll be in Reading Town Centre. You're expected to just turn up to Reading Town Centre.
Yeah. Hang around the station, you'll see other sort of awkward geek-looking people. Follow them to where they're having a drink.
It was brilliant.
Good night. Yeah.
It was great. Got to meet loads of people for the first time. It was brilliant. So
Right.
this
Before
question,
you carry on, Martin,
go on.
given this is a live stream, we've been going for 2 hours now. I need to disappear for a moment, so I'll be back shortly.
Okay, I'll see you momentarily. I can mute your audio remotely.
Yeah, don't take the mic to the bathroom.
I've muted Mark's audio. So we can correct Roger's data, unfortunately, here, that he statistically, of the published episodes, season 9, episode 28 is the shortest. 12 minutes and 46 seconds. I'm going to take a guess at what this is. Hey, Alan, can you guess what you think that episode might be?
12 minutes.
Yeah.
Is this us announcing that the podcast was broken? Hang on, season 9. That would have been, that's a few years ago.
I reckon what we did here is we had a scheduled interview with somebody, and for whatever reason we couldn't use the interview audio, so we basically had half a show. I'm going to guess what must have happened there.
Oh, yes. In the show notes, it says, we're all here, most of us, the whole show. But this is a much shorter show than usual. Hashtag blame Martin.
Oh, no!
Yes. And the notes say that Mark, Alan, Laura, and Martin, in brackets, just about, are here again. Are you in a remote hotel or something? Were you in
Oh, gosh. Let's have a
This
look.
was in 2016, September 2016.
September 2016.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
In this show, we discuss, but you'll never hear it, why distros grow in popularity and what kills them off. I don't know what conversation that was. Was that a conversation with you that we lost?
Yeah, probably. So I know where I was. So shall I tell you exactly where I was? I'm just going to unmute Mark. Welcome back,
I think
Mark.
I know where you were. Go on.
Hello.
It was my first week at Canonical, and I was at a sprint in Heidelberg. And so was Andy Hazen, who's in chat with us, because he and I were roommates. Not Heidelberg, Den Haag.
Was I not?
No, you were there. No, it can't be that. You were there. You were both of those sprints. So you're at Heidelberg and Den Haag.
No, we were in separate rooms.
So where the heck?
We were in separate rooms.
Yeah,
So-
you and I were.
So this is another insight for this podcast. Sometimes when we're remote, there have been occasions where we've had to record the podcast properly remote using like Mumble or whatever. And I remember having one of those Zoom handheld recorders. And in order to reduce the vibration, because it picks up a lot of noise, these Zoom recorders, I had a pile of pillows in my hotel. And I piled the pillows up on my desk and put the Zoom recorder in front of me, facing me on a pile of pillows. And it worked brilliantly. If you're ever having difficulty deadening the sound of recording a microphone, yes, Laura said it was Pillowcast.
Yes.
I had the thing on top of the pillows.
Although in the modern age, you can use old-fashioned Russian microphones, I've learned, because you don't need the pillows then.
Pillows are more fun.
Right, so Mark's back. Back to the quiz.
Hello.
Yeah, so Alan
Oh,
has
we got
indeed
we
been
got
in
some
most
answers right.
episodes. Oh, we got it right. 8. That's interesting. It should be 9. If Roger thinks there's 8 presenters, there should be 9, unless he has accounted for Samantha. Let's find out.
Yeah, Samantha is in the list. She's not.
Then in
not
which
on the-
case, we've been foiled by Roger's meticulous research.
Do we at this point? Do we, Alan? Can you show us Samantha? Is she there?
She's behind the green curtain.
Well, hang
Oh,
on.
my
So
thing's going a bit wibbly wobbly. If we bring
very
her out.
quickly, there were only 3 pantomimes. Seasons 3, 4 and 5. So I'm guessing that if people want to hear the pantomimes, they listen to the last episodes of season 3, 4 and 5 for some top quality amateur
Cringe.
production, I would say. Right.
Yes.
I will also look up something, because I've got a picture of Samantha here, but if you can, are you going to be able to dig actual Samantha out there, Alan?
Yeah. Okay.
I will go here. Oh no, no, that's the wrong place. In fact, I think I can do better than this. We can do this.
Come on, chop chop, guys. We're hemorrhaging viewers.
No, we're not. Here we go. This is Samantha on Twitter. There we go. So, Samantha's profile reads, banned from the Chelsea shower. Let's try that again, shall we? Can you edit that bit
This
out,
is what
Joe?
it's like when Martin tries to read feedback on the show.
Yeah, it's like this every time. So, banned from the Chelsea Flower Show, inventor of time travel and Branston Pickle, silent member of the Ubuntu Podcast. So this is Samantha, known as Silent Samantha. And if you've paid close attention to the ubuntupodcast.org website, Samantha has uploaded every single episode of the Ubuntu Podcast to the website. Can I prove that?
So Samantha came from, like, in the early days, early episodes.
Here we go.
We started with the old Radio 4 nonsense, and someone said we were the Radio 4 of Linux podcasts, and so we took that and ran with it. And if you ever listen to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, you'll notice that the presenter has an assistant called Samantha, who you never hear, who keeps score and rings her bell with such aplomb. And so we just stole that, and we found someone called Samantha, and she used this laptop, which is a ThinkPad X61S, and she would use that to play the stings in, the little bits in between, the interstitial bits in between segments. She would play those into the stream. And when we were using Mumble, she would connect to Mumble. So there'd be all of us and Samantha, and she would play the stings in. We'd record that, and that would be the show. We just basically do a bit of audio processing. But Samantha was made redundant when Joe started doing our production, because we no longer needed to play the audio in. And we started using...
I can give an example of the sort of thing that Samantha used to play in. Samantha used to play in things like this.
We love getting your feedback, so please send it to us. Even the pointlessly mean stuff makes us laugh. If it's short, tweet us on @Ubuntu Podcast. If it's less short, but please no essays, email us on show@ubuntupodcast.org. If you'd like to discuss some of the things we talk about with other listeners, post on our Shiny News subreddit at reddit.com/r/Ubuntu Podcast. Or you can just leave a comment on the relevant show notes on our website, ubuntupodcast.org.
So that wasn't Samantha, obviously, that was Laura, but it was Samantha. Yeah, Samantha used to trigger those audio cues.
And the way that those were played, there was a shell script called cartwall.sh, wasn't there?
That's right.
Yeah, bash script. So, our high-tech, whizzy remote recording was powered by shell scripts. So
I
real
approved of Tony's
practical
technology
command
choices.
line love there. Yes, brilliant.
Where were we? What were we talking about?
We were just saying who Samantha was and the role that she performed in the show. So although she's not part of the production team for the actual recording, she is still a beaver in the post-production department and makes sure that all the podcasts arrive on the website at 3 p.m. sharp every Thursday.
Yeah, so there were a few more of those recorded. There's one from Andy you've got there, isn't there?
I do have one from Andy. Yes. Hang on a moment. I don't have all of them, but I have this one.
Alexa, what is Ubuntu?
Hello.
Alexa.
Ubuntu is a Linux distribution.
Okay, Alexa, stop. There we go.
I do that with trigger. I muted mine, knowing you were going to do that.
Yeah. And I also have one here that's interesting. I think this may have been from one of the competitions we did. I'm not quite sure its origins, but McPhail, if you're still listening, you don't need to do the thing you said, because this is it. This is a Spectrum. There we shush. Spectrum, shush.
Glorious sound. Glorious.
Yeah, we need to reboot 8-bit verses so I can explain to you in Technicolor why you're wrong about that, but there we go.
The fact that we've got you to play some Spectrum music over a podcast on you.
The fact you got me to do it 10 times is remarkable, quite frankly.
Oh dear. Right.
Well, I think we have answered the questions we've seen, and I think we've taken our little stroll down memory lane. So, is this it? I think this is the final. Go on, Alan.
There's a question that we actually had in our notes that we didn't answer.
Go on.
Bacon Drinker has asked, please feel free to, if you want us to carry on talking, keep on asking questions. Bacon Drinker asked, what's the story behind the theme tune? And
I'm going to mute my microphone whilst you answer that.
Write the theme tune, sing the theme tune. So we knew that we wanted to use, like, right back at the start, we wanted to use music that we knew we wouldn't get copyright strikes for. This is even, before all the copyright strikes were really a thing. We wanted to be able to redistribute the show using a Creative Commons license and not know that we would be okay doing that. And so Tony went on a bit of a mission to find some audio that would work. And he found some on archive.org. And it is Crazy Words, Crazy Tune is the name of the song. Do we know who it's by? The band?
It's the Savoy Havana Band.
That's it, the Savoy Havana Band. I don't know if this specific recording is still on archive.org, but interestingly, we've had copyright strikes where people with other versions of that song have tried to take down our video and been unsuccessful. So that's where the song came from, and we've kept it, and we kept having people ask us to remove, to change it, to update it, and then we get a full number of people telling us to keep it, and so we kept it. You've got a reason why it's absolutely terrible, haven't you, Mark?
A reason why it's absolutely terrible.
Yeah. The words.
Nope, you've lost me.
Oh, I thought you'd looked at the words of the song and discovered the lyrics were pretty awful. Maybe that was somebody else on television.
No. So there were other songs from the same collection that Tony found. So when Tony found that, he downloaded a bunch of them, and we used to play them when we were doing live streams. We used to play other songs that were also out of copyright from the 1920s into our live stream. And at one point, we listened to what they were saying, and it turned out that they were horribly racist.
Oh, brilliant.
So we stopped doing that. Yes. But no, Crazy Words, Crazy Tune itself is fine. It's a bit bizarre, as the name suggests. But yeah, if you're going to look at other songs from the same era, then, buyer beware.
And we did play this live stream in with the full rendition of Crazy Words, Crazy Tune by the Havana Savoy Band. So if you missed that, you can go back and listen to that glorious 2 minutes 43 seconds of 1927's best composition. And I can exclusively reveal there is a bespoke rendition of Crazy Words, Crazy Tune that we are going to end this stream on. I'm going to say nothing more than that, but it's a never before heard version of Crazy Words, Crazy Tune. So it's worth sticking around for.
I have to mention, I think I've mentioned this on the show in the past, but some of you may not have heard this. I used to work at an insurance company in Haywards Heath years and years ago. And I was sat in the office one day and I had the podcast theme tune as my ringtone on my phone. It was a Nokia something, N82, I think it was. And the show music played when my phone rang. And I generally have my phone on silent, so it doesn't ring very often. And also, nobody phones me. But on one particular day, I had my phone on and the volume up in the office, and it started playing our podcast theme tune. And the guy who sat behind me, a relatively older guy, he was like 20, 30 years older than me, he just turned to me and he went, "Crazy words, crazy tune." Just having heard the first couple of opening bars. I was like, turned around, what? How did you know that? And he said, "Oh, I collect old 78s music." And not only did he collect them, in his car, he had a wind-up gramophone player. And at his lunchtime, because the office had no like kitchen diner area, he would take his sandwich and go and sit in his car and wind up his gramophone player and play like shellac 78 records in his car. And one of the records that he liked was Crazy Words, Crazy Tune. He recognized it from my ringtone.
So there's a couple of things. First of all, I was looking for the original disc artwork for this because I was going to try and incorporate it sometime today, but that didn't work out. But I did find out that recording that we use is selling on 78 vinyl for between 75 and 140 pounds today. So that's how much the original recordings cost. And also all of that work that Tony went to, you alluded to, it was kind of for nothing because there's loads of people on YouTube with their covers of it that are claiming copyright ID against, our things. And annoyingly, the very last episode that we ever did, I imagine this one's going to get loads of strikes because we've been playing all sorts of stuff on it. But, hey ho, we don't care anymore.
So, Tony, actually, I think when Simon left the show, Tony got hold of a printed version, an original sheet music of Crazy Words, Crazy Tune. I have a copy. He gave me a copy, and he gave Simon a copy. I can't find it. It's here somewhere. I was looking for it earlier today on my bookshelf, but I'll try and find it. But I have a paper copy. It's somewhat flimsy. It kind of falls apart a little bit, but it's in a sheet. But I have the paperwork for this song, and it has like a crazy guy on the front, like dancing away to the music. It's quite strange.
Indeed. Right. Well, I've just seen one last question. Something about me talking about NixOS and Mate. I was talking about NixOS. I think it was Alan that was trying to imply that I would be making a Mate version of NixOS. I have no intention to do so, but I do think NixOS is a very, very interesting project, particularly if you're into making containers and such. I think that's going to grow in relevance. I don't think there's anything else, right? We've hit it all. We've got no questions that are new that we haven't already discussed. So I'm going to try one last time. Is this the end of it? Is this the final closure of the Ubuntu podcast? I think we're done, aren't we?
Well,
right then.
No one's asking us anything else.
No one's asking any questions. So this is it. Thank you all very much for coming by. There's consistently been an overwhelming number of you for a podcast, our little dog and pony show. Thank you very much for everyone that's turned up and come to join us this evening on this our last sort of hurrah. You've made it also very much worthwhile.
Thank you for putting up with the technical issues.
Yes. Sorry about the technical difficulties at the beginning, but hopefully those of you that stuck around, it was all worth it in the end. Thank you for all the thank yous. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Alan. Thank you for inviting me onto the Ubuntu podcast. I've had a fabulous 7 years chatting to you on a Tuesday evening.
Yeah, it's been lovely chatting to you guys, and thank you for all the kind comments, everyone. It's been rather super.
And with that, thank you for listening, and maybe we'll speak to you again someday. Bye for now.
There's a guy I like to kill. If he doesn't stop, I will. He's got a ukulele and a voice that's loud and shrill. 'Cause he lives next door to me, and he keeps me up till 3 with his ukulele and a funny melody. Crazy words, crazy tune, all you'll ever hear him croon. Vo-do-de-o, vo-do-do-de-o-do. Vo-do-do. Sits around all night long, sings the same words to every song. Vo-do-de-o, vo-do-do-de-o-do. His ukulele daily, how he'll strum, ba-da-bum, vamping and stamping. Then he hollers, black bottom, crazy words, crazy tune. He'll be driving me crazy soon with a vo-do-de-o, vo-do-do-de-o-do.